Hey guys, coming in. How's it going, everybody? Today's gonna be a fun day. We're gonna jump inside of Unity, and we're gonna work on a new concept for my game, Father. It's not really called Father. Let me fix this here. There we go. It's not really called Father. I don't know what it's called. We're still trying to figure out a name. Basically, we're gonna see if Unity can handle basically a bunch of dynamic floors that shift and change in an interior building. It's gonna be fun. And by the way, guys, hey, if you want to join Full-Time Game Dev, which is my platform, my program, 30 plus hours of content, teaches you everything that I have learned in the last decade of starting my own profitable game studio. If you're interested in joining, it's 50% off for Black Friday. I think there's like 60 seats left. I'm not sure how many, but they'll be sold out by the end of the sale for sure. You're also going to get 2D Art Pro and 3D Art Pro, which are my premium 2D Art and 3D Art programs where I teach you, and my team member, his name is Felipe, teaches you 3D Art. So I do the 2D Art and he teaches 3D Art. The cool thing about these programs is it's taught by people who are actually in the industry, who are actually doing this as a full-time gig. And hey, it actually works. Can't make any promises, but I could tell you that it worked for me, and also my student Lord Grimm, who just said, I just became a full-time game dev, or a full-time indie game developer. I could not have done it without your course. The same is true with my student Chris, who raised over $150,000 on Kickstarter using my methods. So if you're interested in joining the program, check it out below. Let's jump into Unity. By the way, guys, feel free to download my free 2D game kit below. It's totally free. It's my treat to you. I used this exact 2D game kit to make a game for PewDiePie in 14 days, and then I got to play it in front of his subscribers, which was really awesome. So download that. Use it however you want. It's my treat to you. Yeah. Okay. All right, so let me first show you guys what the exterior looks like, okay? And this level is basically complete. The reason I want to show you the exterior is this will give you an idea of what the interior is supposed to be doing, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and hit play here. Mute the audio and hit play. Hello, 3D Printer Academy. How are you? All right, so here's what we've got. Beautiful work done by Felipe. Just beautiful. But we see the exterior of the tower on the first level, right? And you can see that it's shifting and moving. It's twisting like cogs, right? We want to translate that not only when you look out the windows when you're inside. You want the skybox to be rotating, simulating you're moving on this floor. But we also want small floors and doors and walls to be shifting as well. That's the core hook of this game. We don't really know how it's going to work. We're trying to figure this out. We don't really understand from a game design perspective what this is going to do to the game. So today, during this live stream, I'm just going to test it out with you guys. Test out the interior and sort of just play around with it and see what kind of mechanics we can come up with. Okay, so this is the exterior. Now let's go ahead and jump to the interior. All right, so this is our little interior test level. It's called floor 1. And you start in an elevator, and I want to sort of show you guys what we've got so far. Now, what's crazy is every game at its baseline level, just at its core, is just pretty simple, right? A lot of it has to do with the flourishes. So right now we have just this basic pieces, okay? And what we're gonna do, and I programmed this last night, these basic pieces are going to be sort of the core to all of the movable objects in the game, okay? So we have this thing called the clock controller, and we made this yesterday. And you can see that its timer is set to every 60 seconds, but let's change it to every 5 seconds. I want to show you guys what's happening here, okay? Let's mute the audio here, or unmute the audio, but I don't want it to be too loud. There we go. Who had the best name? Not the names aren't perfect yet, I'll be honest with you. And I polled my audience about the name of the game, guys. And the community tab, and just nobody. I haven't seen one I love. Okay, so this is what we've got, guys. We have all these different kinds of objects that will move. Now, a lot of you might be wondering, this is really dumb. Why is Thomas wasting his time on this? Well, actually, it's going to be sort of the core to the whole game, all right? So we have these panels. So this is going to be a panel that can shift up every 60 seconds and reveal maybe a hole in a wall. We also have these hallways here, okay? And they shift, and this doorway will actually come down here every 60 seconds. So the tower changes every 60 seconds. At least that's the plan right now. This is a T hallway, and what's cool is I programmed friction this morning. So it actually will carry you with it, which feels really cool. But the idea, at least from a marketing perspective, is to have something that kind of looks like what you might see in Harry Potter, right? Stairways that move and shift, see? And we want that from a marketing perspective. I want to be able to show that visually in the first 5 seconds of the trailer, just this shifting tower. Well, we can't do that unless we have all these core pieces ready to go, okay? And so these are all prefabs, and they work. That's what matters. And the player doesn't slip off of them when they're moving. I was really worried about that, actually. Is the player going to fall off the pieces? No, they all work great. Now, the question is this, all right? Can Unity's nav mesh system handle this? I think it can, and I want to show you how. Okay, so first off, we have this static ProBuilder polyshape. And if I bake the navigation here, you'll see that there's this nice little gap here, right? So the enemies cannot run across it. And I haven't tested this yet today, guys, so we're going to figure this out together. The problem is if this bridge goes all the way across to over there, and by the way, this bridge moves, see? It'll extend. We want the spider to be able to walk across, right? The problem is, well, it's a dynamic object, right? That's the big problem here. It's a dynamic object. So I think what I want to do, the first thing I want to do is I need to block the spider from actually going across it, right? But I also, when it's actually pulled away, but I also want the object to not move at all if there is an enemy on top of it, right? Because otherwise the enemy will fall off. Well, there is no falling with enemies, is there? So, man, going live right now and just sort of saying this all out loud now, I just feel like the enemies should not be able to walk on these platforms because it's going to be so challenging to get this to work. Right, and that's M. Karam says it correctly here. You can rebuild the nav mesh from code, set it to static after the bridge closes. Also make sure you're using nav mesh volumes for better performance on baking and runtime. Okay, Cami Games, that's an interesting idea. That's interesting. Okay. You can rebuild nav mesh from code. Hey, and by the way, welcome, Mateo. Welcome, Mateo. How are you? Awesome. You joined full-time game dev yesterday? That's so great. Congratulations. I hope that you enjoy the program and you'll learn a ton. Welcome, welcome. There was a simple that Unity itself used in Giga. They used a plane for the nav mesh. Enemies walking on moving platforms would be quite intimate for the player. What does that mean? Was programming friction hard? Yes, I had to steal some code. I could show it to you here. It's like this weird script here that it raycasts below the player. And one of the reasons why I wanted to use a raycast was because even when the player was about to land on a platform, I still want them to catch it. And if they jump off the platform, I still want them to go with it a little bit. I want there to be some wiggle room for the player to make mistakes. And so there's this raycast that shoots below the player onto a platform. If it touches a platform with friction, basically tagged as friction, the player will then move with that object with this code here, which I don't understand. I just copied and pasted it from online. Yeah. You could bake a mesh with a bridge that connects the two sites. Then make it invisible so it doesn't show in game. And to avoid enemies moving, add an invisible wall and move it with animation. The problem here is, here's the problem. If an enemy, we got to figure this out, guys. If an enemy walks onto a moving platform, okay, and then that platform moves away, the enemy's screwed, right? The enemy's going to be floating in midair. So I'm of the opinion enemies should not be able to walk onto these platforms, right? Or when there is a platform, there aren't any enemies around. I don't know. It's an interesting discussion. I can't really figure out exactly how we want to do it. Let's hit play again. Can't you use physics materials? No, not with character controllers. Typically don't behave the same way a typical rigid body does, and so you can't apply those same principles. Okay, let's hit play here and just think while we're playing. Okay, if I have a spider running around, right? We can make this a nav mesh obstacle, sure. We can make that one's about the only one that would be a nav mesh obstacle. But if a spider's running onto this, right, we'd have to bake the nav mesh in real time. And that would be super weird. And what happens if the nav mesh gets, like for example, this one here. What if this nav mesh bakes, and then when it pulls back, it removes the bake, and then the spider is stuck? Do you see what I'm saying? So I don't really know what to do. I feel like if there's an enemy on a platform and the player is near that enemy, the clock needs to wait until that enemy is gone. And then when you're within, like, let's say 10 meters away from an enemy, the enemy will disappear or something. Can't you just not parent the enemy to the moving platform until it next stop? No, I don't believe you can, because the way the AI agent works is it's always going to be stuck to a certain position on the nav mesh. We could test it out. Like, for example, if I have this block here and then I put a spider inside of it, right? We could try this and see what we get. Well, first off, that's a mess. What we do here is we actually need to put the spider here first and then inside of it. There we go. So we could take a look here and see what happens to the spider when it's on this object here. So let's take a look. Okay, he's gone. He's not even there. There he is. Okay. Yeah, look. It doesn't even matter if he's parented. Look at that. What? Let's double check something here. What I want to do, we're going to set this to 1 for now. And I want to see what happens here. Okay. All right, so let's put a spider on this and see what happens. Okay. But I need it to be the size of 1. So if I put a spider onto this, 0 out its position, not its rotation, just its position. Come on, Thomas. This is definitely a challenging thing. We're going to need to figure this out. This is paramount to figure out, okay? We have a spider on this object, right? And let's say we've got the spider right here, okay? Let's just see what happens. Okay, he's chasing me. Look, okay, so he is moving. He is moving. Okay. Let's double check. If he chases me, is he still influenced? Oh, good. Okay. Hey, guys. So it looks like if you parent, this is odd. I didn't know this would work. But if you parent an AI agent to an object, the object will influence its position. So that is true. Tell me, Benjamin, about switching over to Unreal. What was that like? Because I have considering it. I have considered it. Okay. What we can also do, we can have a raycast coming out of the spider. Or, no. Look. We've got, on the spider, we have, oh, good, we've got a rigid body and capsule collider. So that means that, good, okay. So this object will, we can just write it in the script here inside of the platform friction. We can write a script. Basically, it's a onTriggerEnter script. Void onTriggerEnter. And we're going to say if other.gameObject. Or we could just do get component. If other.get component enemy. I believe it's enemy default. Let's double check. Yeah. If it's enemy default. There we go. Then go ahead and parent other.transform. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get this back to its original size. So what we're trying to achieve, for those of you who are wondering what we're doing, we're trying to get the enemies, these AI agents, to snap onto objects when they touch them. Okay. So in this case, with the platform here, we just want it to snap onto the platform. That's about all we're looking for here. Like that. Just like that. Okay. But I'm going to delete this. And we're going to go to the spider here. And put it here. So that when he wanders around and then touches this, he will snap to it. And what that means is we need to put this up just a little bit like this. I have a theory that this isn't going to work, but we can try it. This seems a little messy, but we're going to try it. On collision enter. So it needs to be on collision enter. Private void on collision enter. And those of you just joining us, just remember you can join full-time game dev and get 50% off plus 2D Art Pro and 3D Art Pro and join over 3,500 students. By the way, if you're a student, let us know in the chat what you think about the program. Guys, this does support the channel. Some of you might wonder, why does Thomas, promote his courses? Well, it supports this channel, but it also helps pay my salary and my team's salary for bigger projects like this one. So that's one of the reasons why I do it. Another reason, it does support your career and helps you out. Because I really do believe in the program. It really is an awesome program. Okay. Let's do this, guys. If collision dot game object dot get component enemy default, if that exists, meaning if it's an enemy, then go ahead and parent the enemy. Collision dot game object dot transform dot parent equals transform. Okay, so it's just going to be parented to this object. That's about it. Hey, eccentric stylist, happy birthday. Donating to fellow indie devs for my birthday. You inspired me to create video games for my BFFs, and I'm thankful to see you live streams. That's awesome. That's awesome. Trigger event on bridge extension and have waypoint nodes parented to the bridge. Spider could then use those nodes to cross the path. That's an interesting idea. I didn't think about that. I don't know if that works. It might work though. Yeah. It might work. I know what you're saying. Oh man, this is tough, guys. So for the bridge, that would work. For the clock object, I think that would work. Or I'm sorry, for the T object, that would work. They just would move so fast. That's the problem with those kind of waypoints. I feel like it's better to parent it. And here's why. Now, I do wonder, here's another question. Can you create a nav mesh surface that moves, right? If I take that, I doubt you can. I doubt you can. And I made this static here. This is such a pain. Remove that. Like if I were to take this, and you can go in, if we go into my nav mesh here and click bake, it just baked that now, right? If I move it, it stays put. See? So that's the problem. Interesting. It's like, let's do it here and see what we get. If I click bake again, there's our surface. And then if I move it over here, surface gets put back. Okay. If I do it again, bake. But if I move that there, he's still going to be able to walk on it. Okay. That's why we're going to try and parent it to this object so that it can move back, and then some sort of obstruction will be put here, right? Yeah. You think a nav mesh surface? You think we should do that instead? We could try that. Surface. Where's the freaking surface? There it is. Nav mesh surface. No. Man, you know. Let's take a look. I mean, let's just do a Google search. Nav mesh surface that moves. Unity. Moving nav mesh platforms. Yes, you can. This is from 2021.
Are you using the Unity navigation system, and do you want moving platforms in your game? Have you checked out the Unity nav mesh components frequently asked questions and seen that is explicitly not supported? In this video, we're going to take a look at two different ways that you can use the Unity nav mesh components in your game with moving platforms, as well as the limitations and drawbacks of those two solutions. Hey, Chris here from Mom Academy.
This guy helps
Here
me
to
a lot
help
with
you.
AI.
Yes, you. Make your game dev dreams become not a reality. If you want to help me in that, moving platforms are not included in the bake. Those two moving platforms have their own nav mesh surface attached that also have collect objects children. So when we bake those, they get their own nav mesh data created. I'm going to talk.
Okay. I hear you. So we put a nav mesh surface on the parent object. I appreciate this guy. This is interesting. Nav mesh surface, collect children. Okay, good. Include layers, everything. If I click bake, what happens? Nothing. And we have an error here. Okay. We're going to figure this out. Yeah, it's a great channel. What's this guy's name? Liam Academy? No, I want enemies to be able to follow you. That I do. So already we're getting issues. So let's see
Then
here.
4 nav mesh links. This setup is really important because our 2 moving platforms are not a child of the floor. So whenever we bake the nav mesh using collect objects children on the floor, those moving platforms are not included in the bake. Those 2 moving platforms have their own nav mesh surface attached that also have collect objects children. So whenever we bake those, they get their own nav mesh data created. And I'm going to talk more about the importance of this scene setup a little bit later in the video about why we have the nav mesh links set up under the floor and not on the moving platform, which is where you might think that they should go. As long as we're talking about the moving platforms, let's take a look at that. We'll see that there are both a mesh collider, which comes from the ProBuilder object. Whenever we create a ProBuilder cube, it comes with a mesh collider, but it also has a box collider that's
That
marked
sucks.
as is triggered.
That sucks. So we would need a nav mesh surface. I'm sorry, we would need a nav mesh link, and I think that that's a very convoluted way of doing this. I think it's a real pain to have to set up nav mesh links anytime things change. So there's also another solution here, which is if, okay, let's say we have this bridge here, right? And it's going in and out like this, okay? There's also a thought that I have. Okay, there it goes. So I could have one here, right, just like this. If I pasted him just like this and put it here and set it to static and then baked it, okay, now it's a perfectly, look, it creates this floor, right? And then I can actually just disable all of this, right? So we have this floor piece here, and this by default is going to look weird because the spider is going to be running, right, and chasing you. So let me show you really quick what I mean here. Yeah, I don't really like that tutorial. I think it's a little messy. So let's go out here, okay? If I go over here, the spider can chase me, but when it comes back, I just died. When it comes back, I feel like we should basically say, look, if the spider is in this area and he's on this platform, but the platform is not under him, the spider should fall, and we need to like script it or something. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure. Okay, let's test this out. Okay, let's go. So there's our spider. And then we come back and he's floating now. So the floating is the problem. And so my theory is, it's a risk though. Yeah, I think it's I think just having the nav mesh under each enemy the whole time makes the most sense. But then the problem is when the platform moves back, right? The spider, when the platform moves at all, the spider then will be floating, right? Now, let's do one more thing here. Let's go ahead and I'm going to create a 3D object here, a cube. Okay. And this is, again, we're just testing out all of the options here. And we're doing this together because we're confused. And we're going to figure it out as a team. Okay. The next question is, you could have static pieces that disable the closer the platform moves. Yep. Create a state machine using prefabs with nav mesh data or separate scenes. Why don't you add a collider at the end of the platform so it pushes the spider back? Because the nav mesh doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. Okay, so this is going to be a nav mesh obstacle. Okay, nav mesh obstacle. So this is another thought process I have, which is this can carve. This will carve. There it goes. Look, it's carving it. See that? So what that means is this is why I wanted to use the animator. Some of you yesterday were like, why are you using animator? It's because I want to be able to control a lot of different pieces of information when things move. So for example, hit record here, extend, and then it allows, I'm almost at the point now where I think that I just don't want the spider to even consider following you. He's kind of spooked. But then it would be weird if you're going in a hallway and the spider just stops, So I don't know if I want that either. This is tough. This is really tough. You can use .wean. What about having a second object that cannot be interacted by the player that is used for nav mesh generation only? Yeah, like that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Okay, so here's what I mean. This enables, and then disables, and then let's see here. When would the nav mesh obstacle need to be? Right here, yes. Enabled, and then disable right here. Okay? And then as it's coming back, it right back goes to here and disables. Okay? I'm going to disable this staircase here. We're going to pull game view over here and we're going to watch the nav mesh. Okay? So there's our nav mesh. If I disable this, the nav mesh should reappear. Okay? You guys want to take a look and see if this works? Okay, so it's not carving for some reason. I think what we need to do is instead of disabling it, what we do is we set its scale to like 0. I'm just doing a really quick and dirty method here, guys. Okay, so it looks like okay. This here, what we're gonna do is, I think we can just disable the nav mesh obstacle. Yeah, so this is enabled, and then this is disabled. Yep. Okay, just like this. So then it gets disabled. All right, let's try that. Could you make it rush to where the world shifts? Maybe. Okay, let's hit, there we go. Look, it's working. See that, guys? So it's basically cutting the nav mesh for us so that the spider doesn't try and go on there. Okay. There's probably, oh man, there's so many questions. There's a lot of questions. Let's test this out at least. Okay, so let's go ahead and disable. I think I was talking to Felipe today, and he and I were talking about how we wish we knew exactly how this would work before we built it. The problem with stuff like this is it's so hard it's just so hard to even know how to do this without just testing and testing and testing. So let's take a look at the nav mesh here. Looks good. Comes back. So this is kind of what was in my head from the beginning. And it's all right. I mean, it's cool, at least for now. The problem is once the spider's on the platform, what's going to happen? And I think we might be able to drag the spider with us. Yeah, there he goes. He's coming. And then if I go over here, he won't follow me. No, he did. Okay. That works. Look, he can't get me now. Good. Okay. Interesting. That was incorrect, but at least he followed the rules. Okay, so yeah, I think it needs to be the other way around. So nav mesh obstacle, when it's enabled here, and then once it gets long, it needs to disable. So why? What? Why is it doing that? No, you can't bind. I don't believe you can bind the nav mesh to the platform. I don't understand why when it's... Oh, okay. So when it's this, I think we need to move that to here. There we go. So just before it. And then when it closes, we do it here, just like that. Okay. So that's disabled. And we'll have it disabled by default. Okay. And then when it opens, it enables, doop, and then disables there. Okay. I think for this, you just have to move it a little bit prior. I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, but let's hit play here and take a look. Enabled, good. So he can walk down. When it closes, up, something happened there. Ah, yes. I believe, closes to there. And then right here, though, it goes right back to not being closed. Interesting. Oh, man. Not my favorite. It's pretty ugly, but let's just make sure it works here. Dang it. That's so weird. Why is that doing that? Ugh. This is tough, guys. So it shuts off there. And then it needs to shut. No, it needs. Yep. Here it needs to turn on. Ah, yes. That's why. There we go. Turn on. Off. On. So the nav mesh is turning on and off based on its position. On. Okay. Ugh! That's so weird. That works. It's like inverted. Okay, that works. That's so weird. Okay. And then it stops here and then closes. I think it might be just too far. Let's see. Almost there. It's like this last one that gets confused. Oh. Runtime nav mesh. Sounds like a really expensive thing. Okay, that works. Okay. It appears to be working. What's a runtime nav mesh? Let's take a look. Runtime nav mesh. Runtime nav mesh generation, Unity Learn. In this recorded live training session, we will show you how to work with Unity's navigation tools at runtime. In this live training session, we will learn how to blah, 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 blah. Build nav mesh. That could work. That might be what we want to do. Runtime nav mesh generation. Walking on walls and ceilings. What? What? Is this new? But that's nuts. Runtime nav mesh. And they can walk on walls? Why is it that I've been looking at this I've been looking for that solution for basically a year, and I haven't been able to find it. The navigation Baker script. So this is what I need here. Surfaces, build nav mesh. Okay. The problem is I don't know if those surfaces need to be static or what. So I'm going to need to watch a whole tutorial on this. So I'm going to probably have to end the stream. I did want to do one more thing though. I wanted to test out, and that's great. You know, thank you guys so much for helping me with that. I wasn't sure how you could do it. If what you're saying is true, we can bake a nav mesh surface after it rotates. And then after the rotation is done, then you just transport the enemy to that new spot. Like, for example, here's the problem with this whole nav mesh baker thing. If we go bake and then we say bake and then it moves and we say bake again, the spider will be floating nowhere, right? And so once that bake occurs, we have to tell the spider to go and move over here. So it's not my favorite thing, but we're going to need to figure it out. I wonder, is it possible to bake in update? Do we really want to bake in update? Sounds like a really bad idea. Only while it moves? Sounds like a really bad idea. Does it need to be, like, how does it know? We're going to figure this out here. Nav mesh baker. So I just pull in which surfaces I want to bake, and then we build a nav mesh? Is that it? Okay, we'll try it out. I'm incredibly skeptical about this because the nav mesh is such a janky, messy, rudimentary thing. But we can try it out. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. Nav mesh baker. I mean, do I have a nav mesh baker already? Okay, there's one. What's that one? Is that the one I just made? Yeah, I have a feeling using it in runtime is a terrible idea. But, hey, why not try it out, you know? We need to call this navigation baker, not nav mesh baker. Yeah. Moving platform collides with invisible collider, nav mesh enabled on static platform. Yeah, but the problem is when tomato potato, you're thinking the same way I was thinking. The problem is the spider will just be stuck. When you disable that nav mesh, he's just stuck, right? So I guess what we could do is we could say, look, if that happens, the spider just like moves back to the nearest ledge. Man, I don't know. Procedural games, you do it all the time. All right, I won't end stream. I just don't want you guys to get bored because I'm sitting here learning and I'm not really making anything. But it seems like, you guys are having a good time, I guess, right? All right, so navigation baker. This we don't need to worry about. That's all the rotation stuff. This right here is going to be actually it's going to be a public void, and it's going to be build nav meshes. Okay. Now, this we're going to remove, and I'm going to do it in the update. Okay, let's just do it. I don't even know if this is going to work because it's like, what does build nav mesh even do? What is this? I thought you had to have them static to be able to build a nav mesh. Someone correct me if I'm wrong here in the chat. I thought in order for something to be built as a nav mesh, it had to be static. But if I put in my surfaces here and build the nav mesh at runtime without a static object, is it going to work? You can have it static, but it's not static. It's a moving object. Drag the surface and go. Okay. Well, let's do update first. Okay, let's just do an update. This build nav meshes. Okay. Sorry, you can have it not static. Okay. All right. So it will be. We don't need that, and we don't need that. So it's just this here, okay? Let's create. Should it be a controller, or can we just put it here? Navigation Baker, and then just put in our surface, which is going to be this. It has to have a nav mesh surface on it. Okay. All right, so it has to have a nav mesh surface on it. Okay. And by the way, let's go ahead and bake and remove that. Okay. So I think I know kind of what we're doing here. We have our nav mesh surface here. This is humanoid. Collect objects, children, blah, 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 blah. I feel like this needs to be removed. And we need to put it on this. There it is. Okay, good, good, good. Default area, blah, blah, blah. And somebody said it needs to be voxels. Do you have a nav mesh Baker object in your scene? No, I don't. Drag this in here and let us hit bake here. Okay, that's weird. What? Look at that. It did the walls. The F? I don't get it. I'm going to move this over. All right, let's just hit play and see. What I tell you guys, it's going to kill performance. Look at this. It's baking the walls. Look at that. What the F? That's crazy. Hey, do we have any... Hey, Kobe, can you block this person? Yeah, my computer's about to take off. Why is it baking the entire scene? So let's double check here. Include geometry, everything. Collect children. What about this? Okay, let's copy this. We're going to remove this component and paste it here. Let's revert this back, and it's going to collect the children. Okay, let's double check. Okay. All right, so if I bring this out here, look at this. Look at that. What? Ah, yes, okay. So if I clear this and click bake, it's right there. What if I do it right here? Clear, then bake. Now the problem is, he's not going to be able to walk up to there, okay? That's the problem. So I have to do something like this. Look, there's no nav mesh link. See that? But we'll double check here and We can copy this, remove it, paste it. Okay. And now we're going to drag in the nav mesh surface here, and we can try it again. Good. Okay, it works. The problem is there's two nav meshes, and I don't think he'll connect it. Nav mesh surface PTSD is already kicking in, and also it's hurting my frame rate. But not a lot. I think what we can do is only do it if the player is near it. But let's see if the spider follows us onto the platform. It still causes problems, guys, because okay, let's try this. See, look, he's stuck. He can't come. That's what she said. So unfortunate. Now tag it as floor? What do you mean? What does that mean? Yeah, we'll do slower intervals and all that. But, hey, Wesley, it should only bake for the one service. You can do it! Nav mesh length between platforms? Ugh, that's such a pain in the butt. I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. But we can do it. We can take a look here and see. Nav mesh link. Where's my freaking nav mesh link? There it is. I wish you could see them. Yeah, you can. Okay, good. So the nav mesh link start point is here. Really, it should be here. That's the end point, and this is the start point. So he should be able to jump from one to the other, okay? And it also, by the way, will not move, okay? So look. So that might work, guys. And then what you can do is move this, and it will link properly, okay? Whew, what a pain, though. I mean, goodness. So let's double check here. Bidirectional is good. Walkable, yes. Yeah. Use a pathfinder for this. Have you tried unplugging and plugging it in? Yeah. So let's double check this here, guys, and see what happens. The theory is the spider should be able to, with that nav mesh link, actually, I don't think it's far enough here. And by the way, let's just get this nice and clean, okay? So like, like that, nice and snapped, because that's probably how Felipe and I are going to do it, is just have them like snapped perfectly like this. Yes, so something like this, actually. So it'll come out all the way to right here and back. So what we do, this is so gross. I don't like this at all. By the way, just FYI. We have a nav mesh link here and a nav mesh link here. I hate this stuff. Freaking Unity is so... Wait, Francesco has a solution for us. Are you baking only the platform with the baker? What? You can also have everything that needs as a child of the nav surface. Huh. All right, let's try this. I don't like this at all. I really don't. But let's see if it works, guys. And also, just remember, this spider, there he goes. Okay, it worked. It worked. The problem, though, is that if the where we have some solutions here, by the way, guys, and this can be prefabbed, by the way. We can have a nav mesh link there, and we can also have a nav mesh link here. This is why I love live streaming with you guys, by the way, because I wouldn't have thought of this. So thank you so much. So we have these nav mesh links here, right? And they will allow the spider, like for example, if I had brought this over here like this, and it was doing this, it's still going to work, right? Because we have these nav mesh links. So that's good. So what I'm always looking for, by the way, is I'm always looking for reusability, which isn't, obviously I'm not that brilliant. I'm looking for things that, -8 to -16. I'm always looking for like, okay, I don't want to have to do this every time. So what can we do to make this reusable, right? And currently it is reusable. This is a clean solution, man. Later when optimizing, you can do proximity checks and other stuff. Anything is possible with enough elbow grease. All right, so it looks like it's working. What if you included the main platform in the list of surfaces to bake? Well, Jay, what would happen is we would have a ton of data being baked, and that's unnecessary. It would definitely slow things down. So that's good. I would say that the navigation baker, it should only bake if the player is near the object. And honestly, when it's moving. So here's what I mean. Basically, we could say if the animator's speed is set to 0, then bake the nav mesh. But we're not going to worry about optimization right now. I just want it to work. Okay, so let's double check. I'm going to take this. Hey, let's do this. Let's take this here. Let's go to Window, Tools, ProBuilder window, and then click this here. And I'm actually going to just bring this over to here so that we have this new bridge being created. Okay, and hopefully the spider will follow us across the bridge, right? Now, it could be that we don't need to do any sort of parenting the spider to an object, because if the platform moves slower than the slowest enemy, then the enemy will have left the premises by the time that object rotates or closes. Does that make sense? Now, Yeah. We'll figure out how to bake it. I'm not worried about the bake being, expensive. I'm really not. Okay, let's double check here. Yeah, I'm not worried about the bake being expensive right now, because now that I know how it works, I think it's going to be pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Let's go. Here comes the spider. Good. Oh no. Look at that. He stays on it. That's great news. Great news. Oh my word. I think that's crazy. So as the nav mesh carves, it pulls the object back. There's no way that this is true. Am I in a dream? Am I going to wake up? Does this mean that I don't have to spend 2 days figuring this out? All right, if we go to and the reason, by the way, he didn't come across is because we didn't bake. There we go. That's awesome news. I mean, this is like probably the best news ever. I can't think of better news, that's ever happened in my life. So this is great news. All right, come on, let's go, Bridge. Here he comes. You should jump. Yay, good. Hey, that's awesome news. Okay, what about this? Come on, buddy. Look, he's stuck. There he is on that side. Whoa, why am I still on it? That's a strange thing. So there's something wrong with the friction. So at least it's not a problem with the spider. Oh, I know why. Look, 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 look. It's because... Let's double check something here. We have this box collider here. Good. What about here? We have two nav mesh links. That's fine. A nav mesh surface, a nav mesh baker, clock object. Something's wrong. I got like pushed. It was weird. Look at this. Look at that. What is that? What is that? See that square? What is that? And by the way, those of you just joining us, just remember that full-time game dev is 50% off today. So if you want to do what I do, well, I can't make any promises, obviously, guys. But if you want to learn how I do what I do, and by the way, I have 2 students recently who let me know, like, these are just 2 recent stories that they went full-time with the program. Can't make any promises. But if you're interested, join the program. Click below, 50% off plus 2D Art Pro and 3D Art Pro is totally free, but only for this Black Friday sale event. And there's about 50 seats left, so be sure to click below if you're interested. Okay, so what is that? There's a square down there. Look at that square. Oh, that's the object itself. Thomas. No, it's not. Look at that. What is that? I think I know. What is this? Why is it? What is that? I don't know what that is. Why is the nav mesh not connected when the bridge crosses? Boy, I don't know. I got a call. Hello?
Hi, I'm calling for Mr. Brush.
Yes?
Hi, this is Sophie with Carolina Home Buyers. I'm just calling about a property at 220 Squires Creek Road.
No, thank you. All right. Freaking BlackRock trying to buy up houses. Let's keep going here. So this is great. Then when I exit, okay, how's the spider doing? Look, I'm still moving with it. Why? Huh. I think I know why. I could show you. Yeah. Okay, so freaking amazing. Everything's working. Guys, I just want to say a huge thank you because I seriously would not have figured this out had you guys not been in the chat. So thank you so much. It definitely makes me lose credibility because I'm sitting here saying, you know, check out my course, and then here you are teaching me. But, wow, I mean, I'm just so thrilled. Thank you so much. So the platform friction, we have an issue. Essentially, if you take a look at there's this right here. There's this value called active platform. This is the platform that I'm currently touching. If we hit play and take a look here, it appears that the active platform block, good. So, okay, Thomas. Sorry, guys. So let's keep taking a look here. So do you guys see what the problem was? The friction in this game basically attaches me to this object. And then if I get off it, that active platform is removed. See that? But the problem is here, let's take a look. Good. If I walk off it, I'm still on it for some reason. That's incorrect. But I love that the spider's working just fine. What a brilliant, wonderful thing. Learning every day, guys. I mean, here's the thing. If I keep doing this until I'm like 80 years old, I'm basically going to know how to build the entire universe. So I'm just learning a lot. Okay, so let's double check and see what's going on with this friction script. Basically, we need to say, look, if we hit a platform, yes, else, active platform equals null. There you go. Basically, I don't even need to explain it. You guys don't worry about it. Okay, that should do it. I don't know. We shall see. All right, let's test it out on this T platform. We just want to make sure our friction's still working properly. Good, okay. Yay. Okay, let's try this one out. Let's go. Good, all right. And here comes Spider Boy. That is so great. I'm so happy. Okay, come on, Spider. Let's go. Come on. Oh. Okay, so he's stuck, isn't he? Is he stuck? Please don't be stuck. I think he's okay. Okay, he's all right. I think he's okay. Let's go back. Come on, Spider. I think it's because of the NavMesh link. That's an interesting question. Why is the NavMesh link not following it? Yes. Okay, that's what's going on. The NavMesh link is not following it, which is so bizarre because why he was able to come across with me. So I don't really know. That's a really weird thing. I don't know. The NavMesh links need to follow the platform. I think you can do that if I put those here and then here. Okay, so now they're in a weird spot. So let's reset them. I gotta pee. Set this to 0, and then 0, and then 0, and then 0. So I believe it's the X. No, it's the Y. Yes, so let's do that one there, and then that one there. So we're gonna do -16, and then let's do nice clean -8. Just to be keeping it really safe. And then this one's going to be 16 and then 8. Something like that. Okay, guys? So now that when it moves, look, there we go. So it follows with us. That's a long jump for the Spider to take. Man, I need a bigger monitor, don't I? We can definitely close ProBuilder. Save that out. Hit play here. And let's go take a look here. Let's open up the NavMesh though. Yeah, NavMesh does. I really don't like NavMesh. I agree with you 100%. Abhishek. I agree with you. Let's go. Whee! Here comes Spider Boy. Come on, dude. Okay. Ah! Benefits of prototyping, guys. Can you imagine trying to do this after you've made all the graphics? Okay, so I see an issue. There's a NavMesh link there, and it's not following us. What? Why are the NavMesh link? That's so weird. The NavMesh link arrows aren't following us. Look at that. But these are. Frickin' Unity. I don't get it. No, Gravity Gun is not being made anymore. We threw that out. Look. Little spider boy can't jump to us. Okay, come on. Look. So nav mesh links can't move. Of course. The nav mesh should be able to merge, I'm sure. No. No, it won't. Is the link even needed? We can double check. It might not be. I think it probably is needed. Select auto update position on nav mesh link. You guys are my favorite. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything. Here we go. Yay! Round of applause to Keem4. Yay! Keem4. Thank you so much. Keem4. Sorry for caps lock. See, I thought you were screaming at me. Look at him jump. Look at him go. Ha ha. Oh, it works. Okay, good. Hey, buddy. Let's go. Come on. Look at him. Oh, that's great. Oh, just died. Okay, so, wow. I think it works. I don't understand why he doesn't jump, though, on the second nav mesh link. When I'm exiting, I don't understand why he doesn't jump there. He just cruises off. Who in the chat, type 1 if you think that I don't need a nav mesh link. Type 2 if you think I do need a nav mesh link. Because right there, he didn't even jump. 1 if you think I don't need a nav mesh link. And 2 if you think I do need a nav mesh link. Uh-oh, did you get stuck? 1.5. Two was I do need a nav mesh link. Yeah. What is happening? I fell down and I didn't die. Okay, it looks like we're getting mixed. Gustavo said, drink my water and save the scene. Well, yeah, nav mesh links link various nav meshes, right? So if we have a nav mesh surface, I mean, like we could disable them and test it. I doubt it's going to work. Basically, what's going to happen here is, and I can actually grab this corner here and stick it there and then bring it over so it's perfectly flat. And what will happen is we have two different nav meshes, but you know, I don't believe they're going to merge. No, I don't. So let's hit play and take a look. All right, Spider Boy. Here he comes. Yep. We need the links. I have the nav mesh component package. No, they don't merge. They're two separate things. If you specify the areas you want to bake in real time, you will save performance and avoid using nav mesh links, which will also make the enemy spider stop doing that weird jump on the nav mesh. Yeah, the problem there is that I don't want to bake the nav mesh at runtime like that. Yeah, I'm not going to do it that way. But I appreciate it. I'm not going to do it like that. So let's turn on our nav mesh links here. Those are good. This one, turn that on. And that jump, that weird jump at the end, we can mitigate that for sure. You know, we can do like that. Well, we might want to be a little bit bigger, but yeah, something like that. 14 and 10, that's good. And then this one we could be negative 10 and negative 14. Yeah, something like that. Okay. I think that's fine. You don't have to bake all the walkable areas though. You just the ones you need. Okay, what do you mean? What do I do? Areas. So would I specify this as an area? Ah. Okay. Okay. I hear you. You still need nav mesh links though. Because this area here is a walkable area. And so it's a totally different, well, no, it doesn't work. What do you agree with, Sal? I swear they merged. Check out nav mesh component. Salvador. Not if you add all those inside an empty object with collect object set to children, which should merge the nav mesh surfaces in theory. I'm going to keep it as is for now. Unless one of you can convince me that baking, the nav mesh baker, I'm also going to create a public animator, and we're going to say void start. We're going to say animator equals get component animator, and then we're going to say, look, if animator dot get float direction, if it equals 0, or if it doesn't equal 0, then yeah, build the nav meshes, right? Right? That way it only builds nav meshes when the object is actually moving, right? Notlaw says, I could try and reproduce it and send a video to you if you want. Yeah, sure. You can send it to Thomas at Fulltime Game Dev. Yep. Okay. All right. By the way, guys, just remember you can join Full-Time Game Dev today for 50% off, and also get 2D Art Pro and 3D Art Pro. Those are my 2D and 3D art courses for 50% off. What makes my course unique is I teach you everything I've learned in the last decade. There's 3,500 students, and I teach you guys how to start your own game studio and do it profitably. Believe it or not, you can sell a demo to a publisher for 6 figures. I teach you how to do that. Can't make any promises, but I just teach you what I've done. So check it out below if you're interested. All right, let's go. So the nav mesh should only be baking. There it goes. It baked if it doesn't equal 0, right? So if it's like -1 or 1, yep. Very good. Okay, so that works. Now let's go ahead and get it working with one of the more complicated ones, okay? So this little friend here is definitely going to be complicated. We're going to do I'm going to take this and actually bring it nested inside of itself. And then what we do is we just observe, okay, this platform here, for example, this is the, there's so many weird, I was about to cuss, sorry. Weird rules. So navmesh baker, we need to copy that and put it on this one. Paste component as new, navmesh baker. The navmesh surface is on the, yes, it's on the parent, good. Paste component as new. Bake, good, okay, okay. Just its children. Bring in the navmesh surface, right there, bake. We could probably do that with code actually. Yeah, we just need to say, look, the surface is, yeah. So instead of this being a freaking, we don't even need to, I mean, it could be public, but instead of it being an array, we just want to say, look, the surface equals get component navmesh surface. There we go. And there we go. And then this is just, we don't need to do a for loop. Just surface dot build navmesh. That's about it. Okay. And we'll just call this navmesh, build navmesh. And we're good to go. I'm going to just rename this to build mesh. Honestly, we don't even need this function anymore. Just do it right here. See? Oh, so much cleaner. Yay. Why, Salvador? Why do you feel like the navmesh baker script should be in the manager object and not the platform itself? Do you feel like it's because... See, but I only want to... This is what I think maybe... You probably are right, but maybe you're confused. I only want this navmesh baker to be baking if I'm... Well, that's not necessarily true. You might be right. You might be right. I don't want to drag the things in, though. Yeah. You're probably right. Okay, I got it, guys. I got it. The navmesh baker, we're going to remove this. You're right. Okay, this is going to be kind of a mess, but we're going to have to remove some stuff. Remove that component here. I'm going to put this inside of the clock controller, okay? The clock controller decides when the objects move, and then it will also decide when we do a navmesh bake. It's kind of a pain, though, because... Yeah, I don't agree, though, actually. I don't agree. Because there's no difference. There's no difference. A for loop in one object, looping through a 1,000 game objects and baking the navmesh, is the same thing as it happening in 1,000 different game objects. It's the same thing. This way, I can actually... determine how long the bake should be occurring based on how long the animation is occurring. I like to have control. Personally, I like to have the control. We can do it later, but I like the control in the object itself. Because what this allows me to do is if I wanted to just bake this one object, I could do that. So yeah. Paste component is new. We're just going to do it for this way for now. There may come a day, maybe tomorrow or in an hour, where I go, oh no, they were right. But for now, I'm just going to do nav mesh surface. Crap. Now we'll call this nav mesh surface, nav mesh surface, nav mesh surface. We're going to hide this in the inspector. When it comes to performance of code, I could be wrong here, but I don't see any difference in performance of code. They're the exact same. You're still calling that function 1,000 different times. It's just in this case, it's coming from an individual script as opposed to a for loop, but it's the same thing. That's awesome, Nathan. Guys, let's give Nathan a round of applause. Do applause emojis. Nathan is a cook at KFC, but also makes games when he comes home from work, and that's awesome. Big round of applause to Nathan. Nuts. Welcome, welcome, Nuts. Yes, I show favoritism to certified channels. That's because I'm a jerk. Or what do you call them? Not certified channels. Verified channels. All right, let's hit play here. The animator itself even. I mean, that needs to be... We don't need to even see that. Good. Okay, let's take a look here. Yeah, elegancy, Wesley, it is elegant. You're right. You're right. It's elegant. Totally agree. But the problem is, here's why it doesn't work for me. Because our tags are used for material surfaces. So if I have a metal platform, I need it to be tagged as metal, not bake at runtime. So that's why I feel like things work in this regard. Nav mesh surface, good, good, good. Nav mesh baker, good, good, good. And then we also need to have, let's double check something here. 2 nav mesh links inside. So in this case, we're going to have 3 nav mesh links. Okay, but let's at least observe that it's occurring. Okay. Very good. Very, very good. Awesome. Blossom. All right. So that works great. But we also want to jump inside of the prefab here. And we want to add some of those nav mesh links, right? So we can do a nav mesh link here. And Felipe, if you're watching, I'm not going to save any of this. So I just needed to know how to do it. And now I know how to do it. Felipe is my 3D artist, and he's remodeling all of this stuff. And so if he's watching, he might be thinking, wait, what? I'm not going to, he's probably wondering why I'm making changes to stuff that he's already changing, which is always a problem when you're working with a team. But that's not what's happening. I'm going to, what the F? Okay, good. I'm going to redo all this work. And it's not that the work takes a long time. It's that understanding it is what took a long time. But now it makes sense. So I'm not worried. Okay. So we actually only need one there. Yeah. So we'll remove that, copy this, and then we have 2 over here. Right, 1 there. Good, good, good. I'm confused, but it's fine. And then this one over here. Nav mesh links are such a pain. But if they're on what you would call, a I guess if they're on a prefab, then they're not that painful because you can just drag and drop and they're always going to be there. But yes, they do need to be on update, right? Auto update position. Good. Okay, so that should do it, guys. So now every single one of these T1s have those nav mesh links, right? Am I going to remember how to do this? Wesley, yes. I shall. I shall. So if I bring this over here, obviously, you know, it's not going to work because this isn't what it's meant for. Nav mesh links are weird. Might as well just put one there. Does anybody know the answer to this? Does a nav mesh link have to be exactly lined up? Like the point, does it have to be exactly on the nav mesh surface, or is it generally, it just looks for a general area? When I first started learning about the nav mesh, it was such a mind F. It was rough. We'll do one right like that. It doesn't have to be 100% exact. Yeah, I don't think so either. So in theory, that would be like enough right there. So let's hit play. So do you guys kind of see how this is working here? Now, obviously, I'm not going to use these pieces like this. These are more hall pieces that will connect hallways and stuff. But let's go ahead and take a look and see if it works. So good, he can't get there, that's okay. And he's still, oh good. Hey, smart boy. Good job, dude. Wow, I'm impressed. That's awesome news. So cool. Very grateful. All right. That is a smart spider. So all this time I was screaming about Unity sucking. Turns out that system is all right. Okay, guys, same sort of thing here. This is going to be really interesting. We're going to put the navigation baker on here. We're going to do a nav mesh surface. Okay. If I bake it, there's a nav mesh surface there. Do you guys remember when it baked the walls? How did it do that? That was interesting. It was very interesting. So if I were to rotate this and do this, and then click bake again, I'm seeing some issues, frankly. It appears that it doesn't work. What? Why? It can't handle rotation, dang it. It can't handle rotation. Does anybody know the answer to this? Child object? What? Is it this? You think it's that? But shouldn't it collect all the children? I removed rotation earlier in the script. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I removed rotation earlier in the script. What does that mean? Okay, let's try this. Ugh, son of a bee. Look. Clear, bake. Look, it's baking the freaking walls. Render meshes or physical colliders? Nope. That really sucks. I also guessed that only previously you removed rotation in the script. What are you guys talking about? Great. It's a Unity problem. Wonderful. Wonderful. Frickin' Unity. Can Unity just not like bake the freaking why? Override voxel size. I don't get it. Should have used Scratch. What are you talking about? The bakery script. There was some rotation stuff in there, but this has nothing to do with it. What? Oh. I don't know actually what you're talking about. Hold on. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I don't need... Yeah, I don't know, guys. Does anybody know how to get nav mesh links or nav mesh surfaces to properly bake on a rotated object? Like if I were to do this, what happens then? Nope. Yeah, I don't know, guys. That's so strange. You would think that Unity doesn't care if it's rotated. Ugh, this is gross. I don't quite know what to do here. That's good. If I rotate like this though, and do it again. Okay, it works. I don't know why it works, but it works. I have no idea. So this, when this rotates, oh, we got a problem. This is not good. This should not rotate. This should. But it's okay. We've got a couple things to do here. If I click bake, that's good. If I rotate this and do it again, and click bake, it works. Okay. I don't know why, but it does. That's good news. The next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that this is rotating properly. So that means that this is so weird. These guys, I can't remember how I did this. If we set this to 0 and then pull these in, now it rotates perfectly, right? Along the proper axis. What? Okay, good. All right, I think we're good. This is going to be set to 0, 0, 0. Now if I go to bake, good. What about this? Good. Yay. All right. Hey, what's his face? Tugmac, could you ban this wonderful individual? All right. So that works good. Let's pull that down, and then remember the animation here was incorrect. We need to be rotating the parent here. So we'll start at, what is that, Z? Yeah, we'll start at 0, and then we'll go to 2 seconds. We'll do 90. Yep. At 4 seconds, we'll do 180. At 6 seconds, we'll do 270, and then back to 0. Well, it's really 370. Or what is it? 360, right? So here we go. So the nav mesh will bake at each of the points. Good, okay. So let's hit play and take a look. Baking, good. Ha ha ha. I love it. Jason, I get like 1,000 emails a day, or like maybe not 1,000, but like 20, which is still a lot. So I'm sorry if I didn't get your email. There we go. That looks great. Awesome blossom. So if we just bring this right here down like that, I'm going to actually shift our little this Pro Builder here. There we go. Awesome. All right, so now what we can do here is if we put some nav mesh links in there, it's going to be interesting because we're going to have nav mesh links here and here and then here and then here, right? And again, these are reusable objects. So I think it'll work just fine. Yeah, Jason, so basically like I totally understand where you're coming from. Basically, once you like I'm building games, I'm making games full time, I'm making online training for you guys full time, I'm building resources for you guys full time, and so all my time is dedicated to running a business, right? So when I say, hey, like my course is a certain amount of money, that's just I'm just running a business, just like a lawyer would say, hey, look, this is my time, and I only have so much time in a day to help people. So I try to help people during like Q&As and stuff. But yes, I do run a business, and I do charge for my time. I can't just have, free consultation happening all day because I have a business that I'm running. I have publishers I'm talking to. I have bills to pay. I have a team that I have to pay. So I hope that you understand where I'm coming from there. I do understand, though, that it's hard when you do want to talk to somebody and email somebody that you don't get a response. It does suck. I wish I could respond to every email, and I wish I could coach all of you, but I can't. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and throw in our little. Yeah, we just need to put a little nav mesh link there, honestly. So let's go ahead and put a nav mesh link on the I guess we could probably just do the parent object itself. There we go. And this would be here. Let's see here. This is such a pain. You can't edit the NavMesh link. Yes, you can. Oh, thank you, Lord. Awesome. So here's what we're going to do. This will make it so much easier. All right, one there. Paste component as new. Another one here. Another one here. Awesome. So we have these NavMesh links here. Awesome. And then we'll do a few more. All right, we're going to copy that, paste it. One more over here. I think this will do. Oh, crap. I think it's this one. There we go. Okay. So this one is a little bit different. Actually, I think, yeah, we're almost there. So one here to here. Okay. And then one more. Paste component as new. So this one, all I'm going to do is shift the Y or the X position over here and then over here. That way I can grab both of them. I can't do it that way. And just put it where this door is, okay? Just like that. And I believe it's this one here. That, good, okay. So now we have all these different cool NavMesh links that will then allow the spider to jump in and out of this little hallway here, right? Or even our zombies. Our zombies will be able to do the same thing. It's an interesting, I'm curious what's going to happen here because the NavMesh is going to be, you know, get kind of screwy. Spam alert. All right. Did the stream go away, guys? I'm sorry. Okay, we need to make sure these all update position. Okay? Watch how weird this is going to be. Let's see if this works. Hit play and take a look. That's crazy. We'll need to put some on the sides as well. Ugh, that's so gross. But, you know, I think it'll do. Let's see if the spider, he shouldn't follow me in, but let's just see. Where's Spider Boy? There he goes. So that worked great. How fun. So I'm not going to do the other ones because Felipe right now is remodeling everything. So I'm going to have to redo all this anyway. But that is definitely exactly what we need to do. All of this is pretty impressive, honestly, that with NavMesh links and auto updating the mesh, we're able to achieve this. All right, guys, and just remember, if you want to join Full-Time Game Dev, it's 50% off today. Can't make any promises, obviously. This is for clarity because some of you might be wondering, oh, does this mean I become a full-time game developer? Well, it means I'm going to tell you everything I've learned. And I recently, 2 of my students went full-time, raising over $100,000 on Kickstarter. One of them did. And the other one, Lord Grimm, using my funding methods, has received funding to go full time. So check out the link below. There's about 50, 60, maybe 70. I can't remember how many. I think it might be like 60 slots left to join. 50% off, and you're going to get 2D Art Pro and 3D Art Pro, which are my premium art programs. Here's why this program is so special. Okay? Not only do I teach you how to make games, 2D and 3D games, I teach you how to make a studio that's profitable, and I teach you my marketing methods and also how to make like $100,000 with a demo. I teach you how to do that, and I've done it multiple times. I'm doing it right now. I haven't found the investor or the publisher that I want to work with yet because I'm being picky, but I'm doing that right now. And also, the best part is you're getting taught from people who are actually making games right now. It's kind of like if Blizzard had like Blizzard University and taught you how to do games like they did. That's what I do. So check out the link below to join. This sale event only comes once a year. It's a big one. It's a big sale. So check it out using the link below. And if you're a student, by the way, say hello in the chat, and I'll say hello to you back. But it does support the channel, guys. It means a lot to me that you guys hang out with me. Was that fun? Was that fun, guys? I felt like that was a very slow stream because I was, I was learning a lot, but you guys really taught me a lot. So I appreciate you hanging out with me. That was really, really fun. All right. David Miles. Awesome. Welcome, David. David's a student in the course. Numata is in the course. Welcome, welcome. Karma. GamerNet wants more. I think I should be streaming tomorrow, guys. I'm having a blast working on this game. It's just so much fun. Sea Tiger. Wow, there's so many students who are in the course. I hope you guys like it. It's always weird asking publicly, what do you think? Because I don't know what people are saying. Most people, like 99, actually, I haven't had one person in the chat ever say they don't like the program. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you later. This was super duper fun. And thanks for your help today. Seriously. Thanks for your help. And I will talk to you guys later. Cheers. Where's the outro? I'll talk to you guys later. Cheers. Get over here. Get down. Hey, thanks for watching. By the way, if you haven't downloaded that free 2D game kit below, click below. It's my treat to you. I used this game kit to make a game for PewDiePie in 14 days, and I actually got to play it with him in front of his audience, which was really cool. This game kit is totally free. It's my treat to you, and you can use it however you want. You can make a commercial game and make $1 million off this game kit. I don't care. Or you could just use it for a hobby project. It's my treat to you. And by the way, if you haven't clicked like, that would mean a ton to me. Hit subscribe. And also, this is important, hit that notification bell. Here's why. If you get notified of when I'm live, you can watch me make my next game and let me know in the chat what you think about the game or any ideas you have. And you might just show up. Your chat might just show up in the next video that I upload. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye. I love you too.